The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you worldwide from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and our main website, xzoneradiotv.com. X-Zone Nation, my guest this hour is Larry Pratt. He is the Executive Director of Gun Owners of America. Their website is www.gunowners.org. And Larry, welcome to the X-Zone. First of all, what is going on, in your opinion, in this world today?
Well, we've got elections that are ramping up for the United States Congress. Many state races are also going to be come to an end on the first Tuesday of November, and otherwise we're working to try to block some of the things that the Obama administration has been doing that are quite illegal and unconstitutional, but that hasn't stopped a man who said he's going to, if Congress doesn't go along, he's just going to use his pen and his phone to get things done.
How can he
didn't realize it, but the last election apparently was an election for dictator.
Yeah, how can he do that? And why hasn't anybody tried to stop him?
That is the big question. And unhappily, it's a lack of resolve in the one place where the founders clearly placed authority to deal with just this kind of situation. The House of Representatives has not seen fit to tell the president, we're not going to fund this, we're not going to fund that. And if they were to do that, that would put that particular program into a stall. But they're afraid to do it. They're afraid of a confrontation with the president. And so as a result, they just sit on their hands and watch him do whatever he bloody well pleases.
Larry, it seems to me that not only here in Canada, but in the United States as well, we've become way too politically correct.
Oh, my. I think that's some of it indeed. We're just not willing to call him out, or at least not enough of our political class are willing to call him out and say, Mr. President, you don't have the authority to do X, Y, or Z, and we're going to spank you if you continue to do that. We'll cut your money off. Now, admittedly, the same problem applies even in a bigger way regarding impeachment, but I'll accept the point that it's not really very productive to try to do that now when there's a Democrat Senate. But after the election next year, there very well may be a Republican Senate. Then they won't have any excuse.
You know, when you look over the tenure of the president so far, he hasn't been doing, in my opinion, a very good job.
Well, only would that be a correct opinion if you assumed that he were trying to do what the Constitution and the laws of the land would require him to do. But if you accept what he said 5 days before the election in 2008, that we are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. Well, I would say he's well on his way to fundamentally transforming us. And one of the major elements of the transformation is the open border that he's set up, if you will, with Mexico. And that is with the complicity of the Mexican and Guatemalan government, whose presidents actually signed an agreement waiving their very strict immigration laws as long as the illegal were in transit to the northern border of Mexico. And then it's okay, and it's a green light all the way. Now, what is going to happen, and what really concerns gun owners, as well as a lot of other Americans, that these illegals are going to be granted some kind of amnesty. Yeah. Again, he doesn't have the authority to do that, but I can see him doing it. And once they have amnesty, they can become citizens, they can get the right to vote, and then it's Katie bar the door.
If the president does grant amnesty to all the illegal immigrants in the United States, is it not possible that it could be blocked by Congress, or the next person who takes the weight off says, hey, listen, what President Obama did was wrong. We can't do that. I'm repealing it.
Yes, it could be done, and hopefully it will be done. Mm-hmm. But then we have to figure out what are we going to do with those that are already here. And I think there's going to be a lot of terrible stories in our media telling us about poor children that are being sent back home. Well, you know, some of these poor children are 18-year-old gangbangers with little teardrops on their cheeks, which represent each person they've already murdered.
Larry, stand by. You and I have to take our first commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. X-Zone Nation. Larry Pratt is our special guest. He is the executive director of Gun Owners of America. www.gunowners.org.com. I'm Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X-Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Larry Pratt is our guest, www.gunowners.org. Larry is the Executive Director of Gun Owners of America. Larry, with what's going on in the States, we have this case of Michael Brown, who was shot and killed by a police officer. The media is jumping in, as well as the president, saying, this is just another Trayvon Martin case.
Well, I don't know that I know enough about the case to make any kind of judgment at all. It obviously raises a lot of questions that need answers because the police are not supposed to be shooting unarmed people.
Of course not.
There could have been some explanation, but it better be a good one because otherwise heads should roll.
I agree with you. Is it time, in your opinion, for every American to buy a gun?
Well, we would certainly recommend that. It is a voluntary issue, but we find it. Actually, we do something a lot less involving one's immediate protection in terms of automobile insurance, which we require motorists to have or pay an uninsured motorist fee into a fund operated by each state. So we're not even suggesting that. We're just saying that the people have the right to keep and bear arms. Now, in colonial America and in the early days of the Republic, there were laws that required men of militia age to own militia firearms, and blunderbusses at first, and then eventually rifles, and they were expected to bring that armament with them to muster. And that was last in our law, the Militia Act of 1792, and that stayed on the books for a long time.
Wow. So why is there this rift that I'm seeing between those who want to basically crush the right to bear arms?
Well, I think there are people among that number who genuinely have a kind of an atavistic view that the firearms themselves cause bad things to happen. If somebody has a gun, they'll be able to resist the temptation to use it in a moment of anger or whatever. Well, actually, that just doesn't seem to bear out. That objection really falls in front of the facts of, say, those states where there are no restrictions on carrying a concealed firearm. There are 5 states in our country where you can do that. And actually, if you count the unincorporated areas of Montana, which is most of it, there are 6 states where you need no permit, no permission from the government whatsoever in order to carry a concealed firearm. Those states are Arkansas, Montana, Alaska, Arizona, Wyoming, and Vermont. And those are not known as hotspots for our war on drugs or any other kind of violent crime. Those are rather peaceful states. The places in our country that have had the worst experience with violent crime tend to be the places that have been most hostile to individuals owning, keeping, and bearing arms. Places like the big cities of our country, which even to this day have tended to be pretty hard to get through their bureaucratic maze in order to get a permit, remain the places where violent crime is the highest. An interesting experiment was conducted, not as an experiment, but a law was passed in Pennsylvania which set up a permit system for concealed carry, but it exempted Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Well, the rest of the state actually experienced a slight dip in its violent crime rate, and eventually Philadelphia and Pittsburgh were forced to yield and agree to have the whole state become uniform, and wouldn't you know, their violent crime